Hey guys, Wins here. Just gonna do a character update on my character that is Cospri's Cast and Crit Blade Fairy to trigger my spells on a Slayer. I'll just do a map real quickly to show you how the build plays out. If you wanna see after the explanation, then feel free. Okay. So basically, I'm a Slayer because I felt like Slayer had more defensive options to proc your Copsris. Now, you're probably wondering, like, why Slayer over, let's say, why Slayer over Assassin or Scion? I was originally Scion, but the problem with the Scion was that it wasn't that defensive, and later on, when I had more offense, from, I'm in the wrong flow filter. I got more crit chance, per se, from, let's say, Watcher's Eye, Hatred Jewel. I got crit chance from an Elder Shape Chest, so I felt like the crit chance is not that important on a Scion. The Assassin of the Scion does not offer me that much anymore with gear. So I made a Slayer, so I am stun immune, I am bleed immune, I have Overleech based on generic damage, and I don't have to be reliant on Vengtars or like a Zeri Flask. I could just overkill with any type of damage, and I will get 20% overkill damage as a leech. So now the map showcase is done. So this is meant for speed clearing. That's why I have double Ventors, Abyssals, a Gold Worm. I don't have a Sedimas because I'm using Insanity Glove for faster roll and blade speed. Originally, this character was supposed to be with Lycoside, and I do use Lycoside and begin with Cyclone, but then I swapped it for an offhand stick that gave me elemental damage based on my physical damage. I had a Scepter early on for more damage. Then I swapped it for a Mace that I crafted with Essence of Wolf for spell damage, extra damage, crit multi-crafted, and the most important part is the 5% explosion based on their life. This one could stack with the Herald of Ice, and on 90% of bonus maps, when your Herald of Ice doesn't really trigger often, this can still trigger. So I find this mace helps a lot with clear speed, not as much with single target as maybe a double extra damage of Scepter. Now, as I said earlier, with gear, you could get away with Slayer. So this is the gear I have, 1.5% crit chest with life and resist, that's all you need. I slammed the evasion and I slammed the 13% physical damage taken as fire damage. The other helmets are GC damage, Light Poacher, and my Light Poacher is some DPS, GMP, PTL, Hypothermia. My Cospri's has Hypothermia, GC, and Conk effect for single target. And then my 6th link is Blade Fairy, Cast and Crit, Blade Fall, Glacial Cascade, Hypothermia, and increased critical strikes. Headhunter, you don't need it. If anything, for single target, you're probably better off using a Shape Belt that gives you up to 20% increased recovery, cooldown recovery speed. So that your blade fall from 0.5 seconds becomes 0.42 seconds. And if you don't like to do any MFing, you just want to make a boss killer, or you want to play this as a normal mapper, you could also get 15 cooldown recovery speed boots. So with these two, your cooldown becomes 0.37, down from 0.5. Your GC from Cospri's down from 0.25 to 0.19 seconds. So this is 5 times per second. This is almost 3 times per second instead of 2 times per second, and 4 times per second here. So these two are great for crafting. All you do is Alt Regal and this, and then you can slam it and then Regal it. You can obviously get better rings, diamond rings, opal rings, Assassin's Mark on head, spell damage, shaped rings. There's a bunch of options you can go here. And for amulet, if you don't care about the physical, so you could get a crit multi, life, resistance, spell damage. There are shaped amulets that give you extra damage based on your physical damage. So this character concept is all physical damage. So this physical damage scales the Light Poacher Spirit Burst itself. So I want to use Hatred with this. I want to use, then the Hatred will buff out the Glacial Cascade from both your Copsri and your Cast and Crit, and your Blade Fall. That's the concept. Physical spell, Cast and Crit Copsri. Now I have an insane Watcher's Eye Jewel, but you do not need the insane one. All you need is a spell crit on Hatred to work as a Slayer. So this jewel, let's say the first line you see here, the critical chance, this one is basically an Assassin Ascendancy from a Scion. This works for spell damage and also your attack base. So Copsri is only a 5.5% crit chance, which is really low. So with this jewel, it could go to 1.8. So that's 7.3%. And then with the Elder Chest, that's 1.5. That becomes 9.3% base crit for your Copsri. So you don't need to really go for like crit notes here. These guys here, you don't get crit notes here. You could Twin Terror is amazing because we're dual wielding anyways. So your crit chance is pretty good. It's not the best, but like it's not as good as a Scion or Assassin would be with the same gear. But you could get away with a Slayer. Sorry, you could get away with a Slayer. And Slayer gets a lot of good stuff here. Perma Onslaught, pretty much at your mapping. Reflect damage with reflect taken. So if you don't have the double conversion jewel here, you could get Winter Spirit and put PTL here to make it fully elemental, or you could keep the physical portion and on Fist Reflect lamps you won't be dying to them. The overkill, like I said earlier, is very important. Sorry. Because the overkill here, the previous version of Scion, it relied on doing extra lightning damage scepter and using a Vingtars instead of Series Promise to get the max leech rate. Because with Volpack, we are reaching around 1.9k HP per second as a max leech rate, and at Series Promise or Vingtars without lightning damage did not give me enough leech rate on a Scion. So this character, we don't have any lightning damage because our mace cannot roll extra damage as lightning. It's only fire damage. So we have to use some other leech form. So that leech form comes from the overkill of any damage, all combined. Also, Sin's Rebirth with a Series Promise to give some decent Chaos res back, Chaos leech back on bosses. And then here, the fact that you cannot be stunned because you're Blade Fury, you're not Cycloning. You can Cyclone on a Light Costed version, but Cycloning on a dual wield variation means that your every other hit is gonna be hit with the mace or your offhand, and that's not gonna crit well. That's not going to trigger your Copsri, so it's a kind of a wasted offense stat stick, and you're better off with a shield, Ash Mirror, Rare Shield, or like Cosday. And then this is immune to bleeding, so I only need a Warding Flask and Heat Flask, and a Staunching Flask. I don't need the Staunching anymore, so I got Sin's Rebirth. For a Scion variation, you need Heat, Staunching, and Warding if you don't like curses in your map. So you can't run Sin's Rebirth, for example. Piece of Hate is obvious, it gives you good defense. Everything is physical damage, so you get the maximum benefit of this. At Series Promise, same here, you get the maximum benefit of the physical and almost the maximum benefit of elemental. You're not fully converted yet. GC is, but your Blade Fall and your Light Poacher is not. I leveled this character on a Slayer. I leveled as like kind of a melee build, Frostblade, Molten Strike, Ancestral Call into a Sunder build, but then you have to respect a lot of points if you get like all these Sunder DPS nodes. So that eventually, when I got up to the Shadow area, I swapped the Poet's Pen and leveled with GC and Bladefall. I became a caster. What you can do is you could get more points, more DPS points like a melee here, and then respect these guys later on to fulfill these guys at after Act 10 or 70. 70 is when you could equip all your gear pretty much and Copsri and everything, which is what I recommend to go melee, then swap to Copsri, or if you have Poet's Pen lying around, or you want to go caster, then feel free to do so using the Shadow and Witch area nodes. Just know that caster is gonna suffer here. Pathing is not gonna be very optimal, and some regret points are gonna be required. The Scion variation is very easy. Just start off here in the middle, and you're already at the caster side. So you level as a caster. You can level as EK, Blade Vortex, GC, Poet's Pen, whatever totems, even anything you want. So I'll post a link to this tree, the character, both the Scion character and the Slayer character. You could even go Pathfinder or even Assassin if you want. Just the idea of physical damage, hatred with Watcher's Eye, and Light Poacher, so everything scales very nicely. I like Slayer after the Volpack nerf just because you have the Overleech going, which allows you to sustain your Frenzy. Your Blood Rage allows you to, during bosses like Elder Guardians that have a lot of invulnerability phases, you will be overleeching non-stop. And you don't have to be reliant on any HP flask or TPing out. So aside from that, I chose Slayer for the defense and quality of life, but you could go full on offense Scion, full on offense Assassin, Pathfinder for fast uptime or whatever. You could probably choose different classes here, like maybe Inquisitor even for like boss killing DPS. Tree's gonna be acquired. You're gonna have to sacrifice some points here, probably somewhere here. Yes, so that's the build I have. It's Cospri's Cast and Crit Light Poacher build, and lastly, all the Abyss Jewels I have, it's not insane. It's just a crit multi attack speed life kind of a DPS jewel. I prioritize Abyss Jewels because the more Abyss Jewels you have, the more Light Poacher charges you store. Otherwise, double crit multi, attack speed, fizz damage, area damage, generic damage jewels are probably more DPS, but you won't be getting extra charges on your Light Poacher. Yes, and I think that will be everything. The biggest thing about this build I want to say is the 5% explosion. Only a Slayer can use this. A Scion have to use a Scepter that gives you a lightning damage, or you have to use PTL both on your Light Poacher and your GC Bladefall link here, instead of, let's say, Hypothermia. So you lose a bit of damage here, but you gotta use PTL. That way you got enough lightning damage for your Victars to work. Aside from that, that is everything guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.